We came here to Palm Harbor, Florida to shoot our annual Black Power show, focusing on CEO Sheila Johnson, as well as the folks who work here at the Innisbrook Resort. But of course, being in Florida, we also have to deal with breaking news, and that is the Marissa Alexander case. Now, you might remember George Zimmerman shot and killed a 17-year-old unarmed Trayvon Martin. He was questioned by police and was released. He's awaiting trial. Yet Marissa Alexander fires a warning shot into the ceiling to keep her husband away from her, who she said was threatening to kill him. That goes to trial. Jury takes 12 minutes. She's convicted and is sent to prison for a minimum of 20 years. Now, in both of these cases, the Stand Your Ground law has been front and center. And of course, that law states that you do not have to flee when you believe that your life is being endangered. You have a right to protect yourself. Joining us this week is Raoul Jenkins. He is the father of Marissa Alexander and also her ex-husband, Lincoln Alexander. Gentlemen, welcome to Washington Watch.
Thank you so much for having us.
How did we even get to this point of a shot being fired into the ceiling to protect herself, she said, from someone who admitted to beating her in the past, as well as his previous relationships? Yet she's going to prison for a minimum of 20 years.
I'm not really sure. I can't understand it myself, and no one can. But, I just believe that Marissa, by this incident following the Trayvon Martin case, Marissa is being used as a scapegoat.
What took place on that particular day?
She left her phone with her husband so that he can look at all of the pictures that she had took of their newborn baby. She went to the bathroom. He stopped looking at the pictures and started rambling through her phone and looked at text messages. And that's when he got angry and went into what she called a jealous rage, assaulted her in the bathroom. He choked her.
When you say assaulted her, describe that.
Assaulted, he bust through the door in the bathroom, which we have pictures that show the damage to the door. He choked her in the bathroom. He threw up against a wall in the bathroom as well. And this assault continued while she was begging him to just leave. The assault continued from the bathroom into the bedroom. By now, his two kids, her two stepsons, can hear her body being tossed up against a wall. They come out of their bedroom and into the living room, where now they can see into the bedroom. At this point, he notices that his kids can see what he is doing. He immediately raises his hands so that his kids wouldn't see what he was doing to Marissa. At this point, Marissa is able to get away from him and start to make her way into the kitchen, to the garage.
So she's trying to run out of the house.
She wants to leave the house.
She runs to the garage, realizes she doesn't have the keys.
That's correct.
So she can't leave.
That's correct.
So before she comes back in the house, does she grab a gun that's in the garage, in the car?
Well, when she is able to escape, she hears her husband tell the kids, "We're going to leave." When she gets to the garage malfunctioned. For whatever reason, the garage door couldn't open.
So she can't even run out of the garage door.
That's right.
Okay.
She's stuck in the garage, and she don't have her cell phone, which is also very key. She can't call for help.
Right.
Instead of being stuck in the garage with no exit, before she re-enters the house, she grabs her concealed weapons, her registered handgun, and walks back into the house.
Right.
As soon as she gets back into the kitchen area from the garage, her husband is right there walking towards her from the living room into the kitchen, where he verbally threatens her, which is corroborated by the older son, and then he charges towards her.
So he charges towards her, she fires a warning shot into the ceiling. At that point, does he leave? He stops, obviously.
He stops and leaves with his two kids.
Okay.
They go out the front door, place a call to 911, and falsely reports that she tried to shoot at him and his sons.
So at this point, obviously, police get involved, she gets arrested, and then we go through this whole legal procedure. And, Raoul, the prosecutors offer her a plea deal. for her to serve 3 years in prison. Why did she turn that down? Because lots of people have been saying, if you're facing 20 years in prison, why in the world would you turn down a 3-year plea deal?
Well, she called me, and we had some dialogue. Actually, I went to visit her, and she just looked at me and said, "Daddy, if I'm innocent, why should I take 3 years of plea deal, and that's not counting the time that I've served? So it's just, I'm innocent. I didn't do anything wrong, but just protect myself. Just ward off my attacker. He had attacked me earlier and was coming at me again, and I didn't have any other choice. And I agree with her.
And so all of a sudden the prosecutors move forward. Now what's been very interesting, since she has been convicted, Angela Corey, who was the special prosecutor in the case of Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman, she has gone on a media offensive. She says that the both of you are, frankly, not telling the full story. They said that Marissa, after she was ordered to stay away from the husband, went to the home, gave him a black eye, and said that really that had that not happened, she possibly could have been eligible for probation. And they simply say that she has been the aggressor. What do you make of this taking place in terms of how they are portraying her as being really the aggressor who could have left out of the front door, who didn't have to fire the weapon? And she even said that by firing the weapon, it could have injured someone in the home, could have injured the children. That should have all been considered.
That 3-year plea deal was only offered the Friday before trial was going to start, which was March 9th. And she only had 3 hours to accept that plea deal. So I don't want people to think that she had all this time to accept the plea deal. And that has been confirmed by our attorney. Mm-hmm. Now, as far as the second arrest, honestly, I think they are trying to portray her in a different light and trying to twist things. That second arrest has nothing to do with August 1st. On August 1st, she was just assaulted, and then he was charging at her again.
Now also, on August 1st, I read that she had just had the baby, what, about 9 or 10 days earlier?
Actually, the baby was delivered on the 23rd of July. So it was approximately 6 days, and she was going through postpartum, and she was breastfeeding in attempts and transporting the breast milk to NICU. And I'm sure he knew that and jumped on her anyway. Mm-hmm. So, I don't understand, what they're saying.
I wrote a column on this, and one of the things that I said was, and I made the point that I wasn't saying innocent or guilty, but the problem that I have is with the mandatory minimum. Right. A lot of people are focusing on the stand your ground law, and I totally understand that. But I believe the problem with the mandatory minimum, and here in Florida, is that 10-20 life rule. That is, that if a firearm is discharged when it comes to a felony assault, it's a minimum 20 years. So the judge had no opportunity to consider anything else. In the sentencing, did you have the sense that the judge, if the judge had some discretion, would have had a different sentence? Oh,
I completely agree. He actually said, I have my personal views on this, but I can't, do anything. The laws are written. I'm gonna have to assess the 20-year minimum. And you can just tell by his facial expression that, he was disappointed. And if you looked around the courtroom at the police officers, some of the media, they were all disappointed too. You could just read them, as the verdict was read. So everyone there was disappointed. But I think, going forward, the judge needed to be allowed a little bit of discretion.
How is Marissa holding up in terms of looking at what she's now facing?
Marissa's positive. Marissa feels that she's been used as a vessel by the Lord, and she is trying to and wants to affect, change definitely in the law. She feels that eventually she'll be set free and be able to reunite with her family.
What's next?
We're moving forward with an appeal, but we are also working simultaneously with some attorneys on some additional avenues.
We certainly thank you for being with us. We'll be certainly following this case and see what happens next in this really, really tragic case, and give our best to Marissa.
Okay, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks so much.